broken up into sovereign republics. Russia was reveling in newfound freedom and looking to the West for help in managing a chaotic economy, at least until Vladimir Putin became prime minister the following year. China's economy was booming, lifting millions out of poverty. The political scholar Francis Fukuyama suggested that human development had reached the end of history, a triumph for liberal democracy. We now know that Fukuyama spoke too soon. In the years since, wars have erupted in Africa, the Middle East, and Ukraine. Autocrats have risen to power around the world, and a new Cold War is taking shape between the U.S. and its old adversaries, China and Russia. On the domestic front, U.S. elections now show a sharp divide between blue states and red states. Some politicians seriously advocate for their states to secede from the nation. Others speak darkly of a potential civil war. Much has changed culturally as well in 25 years, including the country's religious makeup. Church membership has fallen from 69% to below 50%, a historic low. According to the Pew Research Center, currently about 3 in 10 U.S. adults describe themselves as atheists, agnostics, or nothing in particular when asked about their religious identity. These nones vote overwhelmingly Democratic, widening the political divide. I wrote for Christianity Today magazine during the Clinton presidency, and in that role I was twice invited to the White House. The concept of culture wars had recently entered politics, and President Clinton seemed baffled by it. A Southern Baptist himself, he couldn't understand evangelicals' outrage when he permitted gays to serve in the military under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. Back then, no country had yet legalized same-sex marriage, and transgender issues were barely mentioned. In 1998, Clinton's sex scandal with a White House intern dominated the news, leading to the president's impeachment and later acquittal. For spiritual guidance, notably, the Democratic president turned to 2 evangelical pastors, scheduling weekly meetings with Tony Campolo and Gordon MacDonald. Both sides of the political aisle have hardened over the past few decades. A poll by the Public Religion Research Institute reveals that 8 in 10 Republicans believe the Democratic Party has been taken over by socialists, while 8 in 10 Democrats believe the Republican Party has been taken over by racists. Almost half of all U.S. adults report that they've stopped discussing political news when they disagree with a close friend or family member. And 1 in 6 has simply broken off the relationship. On university campuses and online, a cancel culture tries to keep opposing views from even being heard. I saw this principle in action as I followed an internet thread about the hymn Amazing Grace, first sung nearly 250 years ago. One side vigorously opposed singing lyrics written by a slave trader, even though John Newton repented of his past and joined William Wilberforce in the long, successful campaign to end slavery in the British Empire. As a friend of mine said, I've noticed that no matter what side you're on, left or right, there's no place for forgiveness or redemption. Once you've crossed a line sacred to, say, Black Lives Matter or one of the white supremacist groups, you're out, banned forever. Some activists now view Christians as a hostile force of moralists who oppose individual choice in abortion, LGBTQ, and gender issues. Often it seems that 2 sides are standing on opposite banks, shouting at each other across a canyon. In such a climate, we can choose to withdraw, hunkering down with like-minded people, or we can choose the Jesus way, seeing schism and antagonism as a testing ground for grace. I come across one of my favorite images of grace whenever I hike the